Okay, perfect. So, general knowledge.
Yeah.
Archdruid, are you both here with us?
Yes, sir.
Splendid. All right. Well, we saw it from a very interesting perspective of seeing everything at once, and you guys were with your teams from the beginning to the end, from the draft to wherever, I guess, to the bitter or successful end, I guess. But
To the GG. I mean,
yeah,
you gotta finish the meme there.
whatever.
From draft to GG. We're pointing that.
From draft to GG. Give me some of your thoughts. I guess let's start with general knowledge. Were you with TangoWango or Ho Ho Ha Ha?
I was on Ho Ho Ha Ha.
Okay.
Uh, well, I'd say like they seem pretty comfortable with their drafting abilities. I didn't have to give too much input for that. They're definitely flexible with going aggro tri lane and leaving Timbersaw in the safe lane, which I thought was pretty neat.
I think that was a good idea for them too, because
Yeah,
the Dire couldn't fight against it with their draft, especially.
Yeah, their aggro tri lane definitely worked out with the Chaos Knight and the sustain from the Witch Doctor.
So, Archdruid, what sort of impact did you have, maybe at all, if there was one, for the discussion over the draft for TangoWango?
For the drafting, I really wanted the Ricky to move around, and sometimes how they had the aggro tri lane, I kind of wanted him to stay up top just to get his cloud, and just to be defensive. But most of my suggestions went through, which was really good. I enjoyed that they listened. Some things didn't happen the way I kind of pictured it. The one mistake that I made is I didn't tell them to swap. I didn't tell them to just send the Luna bottom and send the Centaur top.
Oh, so
But
you actually wanted them to dodge, and it just you.
no,
didn't think
they wanted to dodge, but I didn't really feel like they needed to. But the after the initial how to say going for the bounty rune bottom, it took too long to get everybody top, so Luna ended up getting picked off there against the tri lane, and so that kind of just snowballed us lower and
Yeah.
lower. But overall, I feel that even though they got what 7 kills in the first 10 minutes, I think, something like that. Looking at the gold graph, it was actually pretty much maybe a 1,000 gold lead at 15 minutes. So it didn't feel like they were super behind because of that. But the part that kind of felt that kind of shut them down of the game was when they kind of died on the Timbersaw. Running at him with just physical damage didn't really work out.
Oh yeah, the kung fu hustle.
Yeah. But definitely these guys executed a lot of things that I kind of threw. I threw a lot of things at them about where to position, where to be. I drew lines, and they did it well. They were executing. They have a lot of potential, you know.
Okay.
Small mistakes here and there, getting lost in a team fight. That made me chuckle. But no, definitely they had a lot
How
of
was the
potential.
communication on your team between players?
Well, when you're losing, it's easy to get frustrated.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Well, quiet, and some people will just be like, "Fuck this game, oops. Screw this game. I don't want to be in this one." You know what I mean? And some
Exactly.
people will shut down, that kind of thing. Communication kept flowing, but I might have talked a little too much, maybe. That's probably what. Yeah, I probably talked a little too much, but they definitely weren't out of it. But when you're losing this much, you're losing all your towers, you're behind by like 10 kills. It's easy to say, "GG, I don't want to play this game anymore." But they fought really hard up until the end, and they did well. Especially that defense on the mid tier 3, the one before they took Roshan. That was a very well executed.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It was pretty sweet.
What were they behind by there? Maybe 10k?
At what fight were we talking? The Roshan one?
Cheers.
The right before the Roshan at the tier 3, where Morphling ended up getting his E-Blade. This was about maybe 25.
Is it
24 minutes?
23?
Oh, 23?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, it was like a 10,000, 12,000 net worth.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It was a really good fight, though, for sure.
I wish that the information translated better on, like, in Dota, that I wouldn't have to just, like, open up it in... Oh, I can't open it up in an auxiliary thing anyway, because it's a custom game lobby, so this information will only be so well held onto.
I believe when we close it, it's gone, right? Like if I were to
Um,
close it, since I wasn't in it.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm gonna save it myself, and then I throw it onto a Dropbox for anyone to check out, and then people are able to check back in on like the previous week's Dropbox ones if they want to just download them or whatever too. So I'm just gonna kind of have that running as a ongoing resource as long as I can, because it doesn't really take me any effort at all to do it.
I get you. But definitely TangoWango. If they rematch, it wouldn't be. It would still be pretty close. I'm sure that they have a lot to grow, and especially with this loss, they can take a lot. You can take a lot more from a
So
loss.
how
than a
much
win, you know
impact
what I
did
mean?
you have on their actual drafting pick ban sort of strategy, I guess?
Mostly, they kind of wanted to counter what Ho Ho Ha Ha was about. They said, we've watched a couple of their games. They play Luna quite a bit, and they play Venge quite a bit. So that was the intention behind their first two
They were
picks.
definitely
Why
upset
didn't they
about
take
that
Shadow
Vince ban.
Demon
I
instead of
pushed it
Venge?
forward, but they weren't gonna rely on it. They did not want to play the SD. They're not as experienced with the meta combo right now. And as soon as they picked the Luna, since they picked the second pick, the Luna, just insta banned out.
Yeah,
So-
that was talked about in our draft as soon as the Luna was picked up.
Yeah, but they really wanted Ho Ho Ha Ha to not have comfort heroes. So they took their heroes. I believe that was the thought pattern.
So what about this Centaur that was picked up right after the Timbersaw was already shown?
So with the Centaur, it's more along the lines of being a shitty Slardar, essentially. Get in, get out, get in, get out. So Slardar, what's his name? Centaur is gonna get bodied in the lane. Even if there was a regular Trillian and not a Timbersaw, Centaur is probably gonna get bodied out anyway. But it's his contribution in the mid and late game that helps the PA and helps the Luna position and help them control the fight. So if Luna's not the one getting jumped on, or if Luna isn't the focus, isn't the star, and Centaur is, Luna is free to do whatever she likes. Same thing with the PA, especially with the BKB, like in the fight on the tier 3 top. The second the fight breaks out, she BKBs, jumps on, I believe it was Witch Doctor, and Witch Doctor just got deleted. And as soon as that happened, everybody was like, okay, Centaur Luna, let's go with this guy.
So
And
why
PA was free to run around.
wasn't Slardar picked? Was he banned out? I forget.
They banned Slardar?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay,
I didn't get.
thought
I
that he
didn't
was
get to
banned
anything
out,
with
but
the
I
ban.
didn't remember that.
That was like one of the first bands.
The first ban.
Yeah, it was the first
Tango Wango was
ban.
just like,
I don't
no
always
Slardar,
remember
please.
things well.
Nah, see, man, you were too busy playing with the dog and everything to look at the band.
Hey, the dog.
I also put forward the option of two other heroes. Who were the other?
The dog was out for about.
It was
25
Bristleback
minutes,
and
maybe?
something else.
I bristle.
The whole point was to have a hero
dog
that just
ran
has
more.
to be dealt with.
Dog had a cheesy.
That cannot be ignored. It didn't have to be a damage dealer. It just had to be someone who could be like, okay, you have to cast spells on me, or
just
I'm just gonna
spam
ruin
him.
your day. So Spirit, what's his name? Oh no, it wasn't Spirit Breaker. I don't remember who the third hero was I suggested, but with the Bristleback or with the Centaur and the third hero, it's just that you go in and you just say hit me. If they don't want to hit you, then I'm just gonna screw with your positioning. I'm gonna mess you up, mess up your channeling spells. I'm just gonna be here and be a nuisance. He's not there for damage. He's there to be a nuisance. Especially if he got to the Force Staff, he'd be able to blink in, stomp, blink, Force Staff out, blink in, stomp, Force Staff out. Just kind of like how a Slardar does. So it's the disruption, you know.
Makes sense, yeah. It's common reason why Centaur is picked now.
On the Ags. The Ags is a joke.
Yeah.
60% down reduction.
Yeah, it's kind of good still.
It's 90, I think.
It's
90?
pretty sure it's 60. I
My bad,
mean,
Ursa's 90. Ursa's 90.
oh yeah. At first it was stupid. Now it's it's rude. That's the best way to put it.
Centaur when he first came out was stupid. Oof. I hope you boys remember that. When he used to stun, not slow. Oof. Gross.
Do you
Oh, by
remember the
scrambling.
time?
Anyway, that's about as much as I think about the drafting phase.
Now,
Anything else
the
you'd
way
like to ask?
that I look at the itemization and the way that it progressed out for the Dire, I don't think I agree entirely with the direction that the Ricky went. And even more so, I think there would have been better options for the Luna in terms of farm accelerators, even considering that she was behind in the lane and getting pressured out a lot?
The first item that I actually wanted him to get was the Helmadon because I kind of wanted him to dodge the lane. But by the time I was looking at how poor he was and what was the timeline for a Luna, Luna did not have the time to even farm the Helmadon because they're just gonna knock on your towers, right? Luna has to be there when they're knocking on a tier 3 at 20 minutes. So Luna did not really have the time, but I would have much rather the Helmadon somewhere because just having that creep follow, if it's the ice armor creep, you're just a little bit more tanky. You know, having the wolf. You might just be able to burst down a hero just a little bit faster, but, you know, couldn't get there, sorry.
Because I was looking at the build and the way that she was progressing out with her farm, and it seemed like Helma Dominator really needed to be there before the Dragon Lance. Or maybe even intermediary to that of the Treads. Yes, just staying Brown Boots into it. Just because like the casual health regeneration in the lane would have done so much for not only herself but her supports that were in and out of the lane.
I hear you for sure.
Yeah.
It's the reach on the Radiant's draft is moderately, how to put it, it's not that far out. So Luna should have been a little bit safer under the tower, but like didn't really need to rush the Aquila, or didn't really need the Helmadon super early, like very first item. But it was just that reach they kept getting them with the how to say, the Reality Rift, or just walking in for a lift. Like I believe her first death was just Rubik just walked up, lifted her, chain stun, dead. And so it was more dealing execution more than I say item, at least for the first 10 minutes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Just the positioning it definitely could have been improved. It's not to say that Helmadon would have been a bad item. You know, Helmadon is good here. But I really, really wanted them to get 4 staffs. Especially against that team. Just being able to in and out is super important. So that's why Venge has 1. Ricky didn't get 1 because Ricky should have been the 5. Venge should not have been buying the items. Ricky, honestly, Tranquil Boots plus Orb of Venom is Ricky's dream item build.
Yeah, I thought that
support.
Trank Boots would have been the way that the Ricky would have gone, not even the eventuality into the Diffusal Blade, especially because he was just dying a lot, and Diffusal Blade really wouldn't contribute a lot to the fight. He was trying to just build as another core. Even though he was buying support items, he was still trying to build as a core. That's the way that I was interpreting, which is not a real word, a Diffusal Blade.
We know you're doing that.
Sometimes real words don't work for me.
I believe the sentence that was said, the sentence I was told was they would be sharing the responsibility equally for the warding, which is not necessarily a bad idea.
Sure. As long as it's done in a way that it actually translates like that, because and they did share it. You know, Venge has 5 obs, 3 cents. Like they spent a comparable amount on support items, or
and they got a good amount of D-wards too, which was nice. They kept fighting for that how to say, the pillar by the Radiant secret, Dire secret shop.
yeah.
On the tier 1.
Yeah.
Between tier 1 and tier 2.
So, general knowledge. Do you have any more notes, tidbits, feedback, any information at all that you want to say either about the game as a whole or specific to Ho Ho Ha Ha?
I think that, well, it's kind of tough to judge them as a whole because they didn't have their 5th player, their mid. But what they did seem to do well was communicate, and everyone seemed to be talking. So, like, I was trying to not provide, like, too much just, like, nitpicky feedback, like, do this and go here and go there. But I was showing them where to ward and, you know, how to take their next objective by warding in the right spot beforehand.
Okay. That's good. Those are really important things to do, and a lot of times getting leadership for things like that is pretty important because teams don't know necessarily where to be placing things down in order to be able to take the next step in the game. Because you could be like, all right, we got our items, but now what? Where do we need to be? What sort of spaces in the game do we need to kind of control in order to get to the next place?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was more focusing on, like, larger concepts of just, like, how to counter the certain things that were happening. Like, I wanted one of them to get a 4 staff but they went Glimmer Cape first, which I thought was also good because whoever was getting initiated on by either the PA or the Venge could be saved. But I think Force Staff is just as good against a Ricky and get out of the cloud.
For sure.
All right.
Oh, one thing at the very start that I was talking with them, it's a general piece of advice that I should expand on, but it's probably good for everybody to hear. It's when you get into a game of Dota, you should start with having a large grand goal and then break it up into smaller and smaller goals. So you want to win the game. How do you want to win the game? When do you want to win the game? At what time are you going to do what? And just as a team, figure out what are you doing when, how are you doing it when, what are your timings on your heroes, what are your timings for your items, that kind of stuff. If that, just to tag on with what you were saying.
Yeah, that's very great feedback, and that's true, because you need to be able to break it down into those sorts of understandings of, even down to just like power spikes, where you're looking at a hero objectively as, if I don't get items, when do I get a burst of strength that I may be able to overtake someone? So that example more so is going to be like for an offlane or a 1 versus 3 sort of situation where you may not have the gold, but you have the experience, and then you just need to look for your moment. And then that's where you're able to kind of push yourself forwards and overtake the lane. And sometimes it's getting a mechanism or a blink dagger and having your team group up and start pushing, but you need to recognize those opportunities, because as soon as you realize that you have that inner strength as a group, that's when you're able to start to take objectives, and when you'll basically start to just straight win the game.
For sure.
Now, I guess if either General Knowledge, Doggy Sandwich, or yourself, Arch, have no more overall comments of the game, I'm going to open this up to a group discussion as I get the next in-house game loaded up.
Yeah, go for it.
I ain't got nothing to say, man.
Can't think of anything right now, but I'll get you back with you.
Okay,
I was
cool.
wondering if skipping the Lincolns was fine this game, because I felt like there were just so many things that were going to pop it constantly. It wasn't actually going to block anything of value.
It depends on whether or not Morphling was just, they were even looking at Morphling. They weren't. Morphling
They
had...
were. I mean, I dove a couple of times. A couple of times I was able to strength morph in time. A couple of times I wasn't. But it was more just like, if the dagger gets blocked, then I just get jumped on for the crits anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
I
would
think
say it's
skipping
more...
Lincolns was probably okay.
Your skipping Lincolns was completely fine. I think you were sitting on a little too low of a health pool. One time you were sitting at about 800 as your max health, and I just told PA, if you get the crit, just kill him. And she did. And I was like, okay, that worked out.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, because that was the first thing we were called out when it was like a PA versus Morphling fight. We're like, all right, when are we going to get a crit insta-kill on him, because he's going to be shifted poorly? It's inevitable. When's it going to happen?
Uh-huh.
Can we say something for the draft? When TangoWango sold the Tempesta, I didn't understand. They picked the Centaur, then the Venge, then the Riki. All of them, just the Centaur is probably for magic damage, but the Venge and Riki are mostly for physical damage. I didn't understand. If they want to kill the Tempesta, they needed more burst. Maybe like a lion or like that, or Necro. Who can
That's a good
defend
point. But the thing, definitely a good point. But the thing that Timbersaw is good against is he's good against long fights. He's good once he gets those 20 stacks up. Once he's sitting on that 25 armor, yeah, sure. He is insanely hard to kill. But if there's a PA with a 14-minute deso, he's not going to get those 20 hits. He's just going to go poof. Their burst was actually incredibly high.
But if you did see the fights, I almost saw the Tempesta got the hits from the creeps and the Venge with her last, with the right click. He almost was.
You talking about the fight bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that actually started rocketing ho ho ha ha, that was definitely 100% a mistake. But it's fine, these things happen. In terms of focusing priority, Timbersaw is not number one. Timbersaw is the exact same scenario as with the Centaur. He's just annoying to deal with. He has a lot of damage, however, these heroes don't really care that much to say. Well, really only Luna, to be honest. How are you going to kill a Ricky when he just blinks in, presses R, and smokes? Venge is going to sit back far enough that it really isn't going to matter. PA needs to rush a BKB in this match. And Luna, yes, you can definitely deal with a Luna, but Luna's the type of hero that once she has enough items, she just kind of sits there and said, "Fight me. I don't care. I have a satanic." Eventually, obviously, and from a point that where you're behind, you're behind.
I still would have liked to have seen Shadow Demon picked instead of Avenge, but I think, you know, a little bit of a different situation as a whole.
I gave you the breakdown on those two picks. But I mean, it's not a terrible idea. Like if somebody's like really, really good at Tinker and you just never want to play against that, but you don't have the time to ban it.
Oh, no, I agree.
But for the PA pick, I don't understand too. After the CK, when you saw the CK, you don't pick actually PA against CK.
It's about managing threat. So managing threat, you have 3 targets. Is CK going to go MKB first, second, or third item? No, not really.
But
He's
he
gonna
has
have
to
insane
use,
amount
he
of
don't need actually MKB. I have a lot of games CK and against the PA. We are always losing the games. I can show you if you want.
I believe
even
you.
Even if you don't have MKB, you have too much illusion, and the burst of damage, and the PA has low HP. He can burst in 2 hits.
Alright guys, I am whispering out the password and lobby name to people who should be joining the games. If you are not here, tell me. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
Okay. The burst on the CK is actually quite manageable. Because one of the PA's very, well, how to say, tried and true builds is Vanguard, Deso Vanguard. And then eventually you get that into a Abyssal Blade later on. But just having the little burst of health that the Vitality booster gives you, or even the strength, even the Overclub from the BKB, is enough that PA can juggle it. It is dangerous, you're right. CK is one of probably the highest single target DPS heroes in the game. But it's manageable. It's a manageable threat that you have to take head on. The thing about PA is if you're dealing with PA, you're not dealing with Luna. If you're dealing with Luna, you're not dealing with PA. And then there's a Centaur in between. So PA's job was ignore CK. Like, PA was not picked to kill CK. PA was picked to just, hey, Rubik, you want to see a trick with a dagger? Yeah. That's PA's thing, and she did it a couple times. A couple times she actually tossed I think she tossed the dagger at Witch Doctor, and he just got one KO'd. It was like, nice. Yeah, PA is not there to deal with CK. Though PA, it's honestly a toss-up. They're not compatible, I guess. Whoever has more money wins in that case, essentially. Especially CK got.
Sky, are you hungry?
Sorry.
Why are you guys asking if I'm hungry? Just because I have the password of the lobby being related to
Food.
what? Hey, you got a problem with delicious treats? Doesn't matter. No, I ate like a oddly timed lunch, so I'll probably grab a snack at some point. But I wanna at least, you know, try and get these people in here. So Thanatos, Satan, T-Dog, Clockwork, Butterquark, Ravlin, Sora, Sunder, Psycho Panda, and Arteezy is my 10 I have for this, I think. And then we should have time for one after because we've been making pretty good time, guys. So,
I want to say that Ricky should have gotten a Blink Dagger.
Oh jeez.
Let's be honest.
If he had the money, for sure. You're basically invulnerable in the ult.
People that I've called out that are in the game, please join a side so I can get an idea of who is fully in, and then I will figure out how we're distributing these teams around.
Oh,
Yeah, no worries.
You could probably pick for Ricky and Ogre better. For more roaming and substantial more armor. And he can help the Luna with Bloodlust. So he can burst the enemy faster and get the tower too.
Sorry, I was not paying attention. What'd you say?
I did say, why not Ogre?
My bad. Definitely my bad.
I want to say, why a Ricky, not a Ogre, better with the Luna?
it's a toss-up, honestly. What do you want to achieve with your draft? What is your plan? So their plan was to involve the Ricky. Ogre was a completely fine pick. I mean, they could have picked completely different heroes, but these are the tools that they had available. Ogre gives much more lane safety, which you're right. Their roam also would have been pretty good.
Who am I missing here?
But Ricky will contribute a lot more in the late game, especially with Cloud. Especially against a Timbersaw, especially against a Morphling. Cloud is insane.
Alright, I sent it to Psycho Panda, Butterpark, Sunder, Satan, Sora, T-Dog, Ravlin. Ravlin's in here. Clockwork. Thanatos, Arteezy. Is Arteezy in here?
Oi, Arteezy.
Real artistic Capon.
Hello, my name is Artur Bebet. I grew up on a small farm, have to make potatoes.
Okay, Psycho Panda's
Okay,
in.
so
Potato
Panda's
understand.
making his way in. Oh, he's in. Good.
Okay.
Need you to play Dota and Amerikanski. Money for headscarf for Babushka.
Just join any team. It doesn't matter for now.
Babushka, my favorite word.
Okay, who are we missing? Alright.
Me, Kappa.
Yo, Sky, real quick.
Yo.